wonder, Alan, if I lift my right leg, I can get higher pitch. I think it's been interesting this week because I said last Wednesday I'm going to combine heaven and first responders together, and I've had a lot of people going, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? Well, I'm not saying I'm doing it well. I'm saying I'm doing it. So if you would this morning, stand with me as we read our text. Now, I want to bring you up to date on what's happening. Jesus has sent 70 out, and he has told them to witness, to prepare his way, that he is coming to get the people ready, prepared. And they return to him, and they have a meeting, and they're telling Jesus what all took place. And they're just as happy. They're smiling all over. They're just bubbling. Luke 10:17. The 70 returned with joy, saying, Lord, even the demons are subject to us in your name. And he said to them, I was watching Satan fall from heaven like lightning. Behold, I've even given you authority to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the powers of the enemy, and nothing will injure you. Wow! I've given you power that nothing's going to injure you. Nothing's going to really affect you. I've given you this power, and they're just overjoyed. Nevertheless, Jesus says, do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rejoice that your names are recorded in heaven. Amen. Wow, now think about that. Before I pray, think about that. I've got power over demons. I got power over serpents. I like that part. I got power over scorpions. None of those things are going to hurt me. They're not going to bother me. And Jesus said, no. Rejoice that what? Your name is recorded in heaven. Bless you. Father, we thank you for this day and your love. That those of us that know, not suspicion, we know that our names are recorded in that Lamb's Book of Life, that the moment I face death, that I'm going to be in your presence, and what a joy that's going to be. And even now I rejoice, not over these things that are going to pass away, but I rejoice over my name recorded in heaven, that it is eternal. Thank you, Lord. Now, if there's anyone here that does not know that joy, may they come to know it today. In Jesus' name, amen. You may be seated. Do you hear what Jesus is saying? There is nothing, listen, nothing greater than knowing your name is recorded in heaven. Amen. That I can know beyond the shadow of a doubt that my name is recorded in heaven. That the moment I die, I'm going to be in heaven in the presence of the Lord at that very second that I die. No waiting period, no anything else. I'm going to be in the presence of God right then. His glory won't be there right then. Amen. That my name is recorded in heaven, and right now it's a surefire thing. It is settled. It's done with because I've accepted Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. It's done. And if you don't have that assurance, you can have it before you leave today. Amen? Amen? Is that good stuff? Amen. That's good stuff. This morning we are honoring our first responders, whether they are in law enforcement or fire rescue or medical personnel. They are all very special people. People that I do not want to try to live without. I want to be able to pick up the phone or yell for them and come, help! And they respond and they jump into situations that I don't want any part of. I've got the things I do, they got the things they do, and I love them and glad that they are there. I don't want to live without them. They are putting their lives on the line so I don't have to. It's dangerous enough to get up here in front of all y'all. I sure don't want anybody shooting at me. Not physically, anyway. And they are trained to be the most qualified at what they do. All of these groups are not in law enforcement, yet, here's where we're going to tie it in. They all have to learn their laws. Well, now hold it. Medical people, yes, they have to learn their laws. There's certain things that apply with medical that doesn't apply with other things. Am I right, medical people? Hey, that's an amen. So listen, if you are in fire and you are a fire rescue, you have to learn laws about fire. That it gets hot and it burns you. And there's certain ways to put out certain fires. Do I have an amen? And you have to learn those things. There's laws that you have to learn, being any one of the first responders. We don't think about them so much as laws, but they are laws. Now, which is not easy because there's man-made laws and there's God-made laws. And the problem with man-made laws is they're changing all the time. Well, now, that applied yesterday. It doesn't apply today because it's a man-made law. And man is learning more and more about medical things, and they look at medical things, and this applied yesterday, doesn't apply today. So you have man-made laws that are constantly changing. And just some of the laws that these people have to learn, civil law, criminal law, and it just goes on and on and on of different laws that they have to learn. Isn't it great that God-made laws are there? And they do not change. We can try to change God-made laws, but they are not going to change in God's court. He is the judge, and He knows His laws. He made them. And they've been around for thousands of years, and they do not change. And the fire rescue has to learn the laws of nature. The medical profession has to learn the laws of what to do depending on what happens to you and your body. I want that medical professional to know that if I break my leg, they know what to do. They don't work on my head if I break my leg. There's laws. Amen? Like if you work on my head and my leg broke, it doesn't mean no good. So therefore, they have laws that they have to learn. No wonder we are told that each one is practicing their trade. Can I get an amen? Each one is what? Practicing their trade. Medical is what? Practicing their trade. And they get better at it. God is not practicing His trade. When you are absolutely perfect at what you do, you don't practice your trade. Amen. And God is. So, my hat goes off to those men and women that are having to learn and keep up with the next change that is in their profession. My profession is so much easier because the rules I deal with are God-made. Now listen to me. In your profession, there's rules you may not like, but they are still what? I've heard people, and I use this illustration quite often because I see it happen all the time. My office is right here next to a window which is facing a stop sign. It must be a slow down sign. Because nobody wants to stop at that stop sign. It's a stop sign. We have rules that we don't like, but it doesn't change the rules. Amen. Right? There's rules that with man-made laws, there are steps you can take to change the law. Amen? I can go to Congress and I can go to the Senate and I can go to these people and I might just get that law changed. There is no court going to change God's laws. Amen. His laws are there. If you will, they're in concrete. They are there. They will not change. Not so with God's laws. They do not change. It was the law when God established it. Amen. And it's still the law. Has not changed. Most of God's laws we have no problem with. Do we agree? Most of God's laws we have no problem with, but there's a few of God's laws that people have a problem with. We got no problem with the law of gravity, right? We just accept it. It's something we have grown up with. We just accept the law of gravity. There are laws that God has made. Physics, we just accept the law. There's things we just accept that God has established. We understand that we can only survive if we don't get too hot or too cold. If we get too hot, we die. If we get too cold, we what? Die. Those are God's laws. He made the body, and the body functions in a certain way because God established it that way. We understand that we must have air to breathe. We like that law. We must have water to drink. Those are God's laws that are not going to change. In the last several weeks, we have been talking about heaven. Now, everybody likes to talk about heaven, don't they? But like the old song says, everybody talking about heaven ain't going. Amen. Because we like to talk about heaven. But you gotta have the key to get into heaven. That's God's law. Amen. And it does not change. And God in His graciousness created a perfect place without pain, without sorrow, that when we die, we are welcomed, that it is a place of joy, it is a real place, it is eternal, and when we walk through the gates, we will immediately, oh I like this part, when we walk through the gates of heaven, we will immediately feel at home. Because guess where we're at? We will feel at home there because it will be home there. We will be in the Father's house. We will be in the very presence of Jesus in all His glory. Now, hold on a minute. I think in my mind, we talk about the glory of God. We talk about the glory of Christ. We think in our minds, you know what, I think I've got a glimpse of the glory of Jesus. I think I do. We're going to step into the streets of heaven and go, I didn't have a clue. Can I get an amen? Man, some of you acting this morning like you're going to heaven today. You ought to be going, I might go to heaven today. Amen. What a great day it is. We will enjoy being with the angels. But we will not be angels. We will enjoy being in the presence of angels. We will not be angels. At last, the unfallen ones, the angels, when those fallen ones fell, Jesus, the Lord, made a place for them. 2 Peter 2:4. 2 Peter 2:4. For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell and committed them to pits of darkness, resulting for judgment. So what's it saying? God did not whose presence earth and heaven fled away, and no place was found for them. And I saw the dead, the great and the small, standing before the throne, and books, plural, were open. And another book, singular, was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged from the things which were written in the books, according to their deeds. Let's pause there a minute. I will not be judged according to my deeds, because I accepted Jesus as Lord and Savior, and that forgave me from all of my sins. And those that do not know Jesus will be judged by their works. They're still going to hell, but they will be judged by their works. That's singular books, not the book, one book. Verse 13, and the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and Hades gave up the dead which were in them, and they were judged, every one of them according to their deeds. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death, the lake of fire. And if anyone's name was not found written in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire. My name is written in heaven, in the Lamb's book of life. Wow. That I can be assured of, because, hear me, it's God's law. When he says it, that settles it. It becomes a law. So, here, this law of God, the angels that fell will be cast into the lake of fire. These people, I don't hear it as much anymore as I did when I was younger. Man, I'm going to hell, we're just going to party. You know what's scary about being in torment all forever? Listen, you notice the company you're going to keep in hell? The devil, the false prophet, the Antichrist, are just some of the company you're going to keep. And for those of us in heaven, in hell, those of us in heaven, we will have Jesus Christ. We will have God. We will have the prophets of old. We will be in the presence of the Almighty. But there is another law that most of the world does not like and can't understand. But it is still a law. God's law does not change. There are two places, one called heaven, the other called hell. One was made for man, the other was made for fallen angels. The one called hell is either easy to get in. The one called hell is easy to get into. The one called heaven is hard to get into, because there's only one way in. Matthew 7:13. Matthew 7:13 says this. Enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction. And there are many who enter through it. For the gate is small and the way is narrow that leads to life. And there is few who find it. This is another way of saying that Jesus is the only way. He is the narrow way into heaven. Now, there's a lot of this world that says, I don't like that. I don't like that Jesus is the only way into heaven. I don't like it. It doesn't matter.
Amen.
Whether you like it or not.
Amen.
Because it's God's what? It's God's law. the narrow gate. He is the door. He is the good shepherd, which leads to heaven. Dr. Luke makes it absolutely clear in Acts, as we look in Acts 4:12, these words. Acts 4:12. And there is salvation in no one else. For there is no other name under heaven that has been given among men by which we must be what? Saved. That there's no other way. Now, there might be some in here that goes, I don't like that. God made the law. You take it up with Him. Mark brings his voice into this matter as well. Mark 15:39. When the centurion who was standing near in front of him saw the way he breathed his last, he said, "Truly, this man was the Son of God." Truly, he is the what? One and only. There is no one else like him. He stands by himself. Jesus adds his own voice to this. John 14:6. John 14:6. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. Amen. No one. Jesus says again, I am confirming what my Father has said, that you can't get in any other way. This is the law that God has provided. Another, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him should not perish but have eternal life. How many ways? I love saying this because it's so true. Now and then I'll have somebody ask me, say, well, Roger, if Jesus is the only way in, doesn't that make God pretty narrow-minded? It sure does. But when you are God, you can be as narrow-minded as you want to be. He said, my beloved Son, and there's only one. A couple more and we'll wrap this up. Matthew 3:17. And behold, a voice out of heaven said, this is my beloved Son in whom I am well. So we hear from God, we hear from Christ, we hear from Dr. Luke, we hear from Mark, we hear from all these different people that are saying what? Jesus is the only way. There's no other way to get there. I don't care how good you've been. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Fortunately for me, no matter how good, I can't get in. You say, fortunate? Yeah, because I got a way in. It's called Jesus Christ. Amen. And if you've been perfect, which you can't be, Jesus is there. He was perfect. Amen. So with God's stamp, it becomes a law that the only way into heaven is by believing in Jesus to cleanse you from your sin. A fireman cannot survive without laws. A medic cannot survive without laws. A policeman, a police officer cannot survive without laws. You can't get into heaven without a law. Another thing, it does a fireman, police officer, or medic no good if they only believe in the law. What? If you only believe in the law and don't act upon that law, it does you no good. Are we together? I can believe that Jesus is the only way into heaven. You can believe that Jesus is the only way to heaven and not get into heaven unless you come to know him and trust him. Ask him to forgive you of your sin by his works and his blood that was shed on the cross. Of all the laws, man-made or God-made, listen, I'm going to wrap this up, but don't you hear this. Of all the laws that man has made or God has made, that one is the most important one. You hear me? Because that one will get you in hell or heaven, depending on whether you act upon it. Of all the laws, man-made or God-made, this one would be the top of the list for you to act upon. Remember what Jesus had to say? No matter your profession, no matter your status in life, no matter how good a person you are, no matter how much you have given to the church or whatever, do not rejoice in this, but rejoice that your name is recorded in heaven.
Amen. Right.
Would you stand? We're going to give you an opportunity this morning to make sure that your name is recorded in heaven. Being a Baptist won't get it. Being a Methodist will not get it. Being that good old Joe just will not get it. You've got to trust in Jesus as Lord and Savior. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this day. Your love and your grace, and you pour out your love, and you tell us how to get there. You tell us how to respond. And I'm offering this morning your response to these people. May they come. We love you, Lord, and we thank you for the response. In Jesus' name.